Hi there, buds. I'm so excited to share with you my Seattle vlog. That trip was amazing. Like, I've always had this vision of loving Seattle. I actually applied to Seattle University for law school and I almost went there, but it was really, really expensive, like way too expensive. And so I ended up not going there, but I've always dreamed of Seattle because I love overcast weather and rainy weather, and it's like almost always overcast there. From what I've read, in particular in the city of Seattle, so it just sounded right up my alley. But when I say I absolutely fell in love with Seattle, I absolutely fell in love with Seattle. It almost felt like when I visited Colorado for the first time. It felt very much like home. It felt like a place that I could live. Very, very nice. I still love Colorado. I don't want to leave Colorado anytime soon, but Seattle is really, really neat. Anyways, I have a bunch of footage of things that we did. I'll be clipping myself in, just explaining a little bit of what we did because I didn't spend my time there filming myself mostly. I spent my time just filming little attractions and things that we did so that I could enjoy the vacation, but I definitely wanted to share it with you guys. I've got the Airbabe Legacy Pro loaded up right here and it's already heated up, so let's take a couple hits and then I'll get into sharing this vlog with you. Cheers, you guys. Felt like it was like a really big gasp in. I almost like lost my breath for a second. Aren't my flowers pretty? I grew them. Literally, I feel like every single time I have to show you guys my flowers because I'm always so proud of them. I feel like as the season goes on, they just get better and better. But like, look at those zinnias. Like, look how big that flower is. Look at this snapdragon. Oh, it's so pretty. And then there's some white carnations in there, which smell really, really good. Yeah, love flowers, love the flowers. They've been bringing me a lot of joy. So the first thing we did is wake up at 2:30 in the morning that Monday because I planned it to where we would land at around, I think it was like 7:30 or 8 o'clock in the morning. I wanted as much time as possible in Seattle. Like, when you don't travel very often, you want to spend as much time as possible in the location that you're traveling to. So I planned on getting up super early. We flew and it was super nice flight actually. It had TVs and super large chairs, which we weren't expecting, and there was no one in the third seat. So it was a very luxurious flight. From the plane, I saw Mount Rainier, which was really, really neat because I didn't think I was gonna see that on this trip. We didn't really go to Seattle to see like nature really. We really planned a lot of like touristy things that you would go see, like the Space Needle and just like other things like that, just the regular touristy activities. So yeah, I just didn't think that I would see the mountains, and it was really, really neat. Then we got to our hotel and oh my goodness, this hotel was so neat. It was called Hotel Sorrento and it's the oldest hotel in Seattle. It's supposedly haunted, and ooh, it was so nice. Like, when we pulled up, there was this really, really nice vintage, I think it was like a Alfa Romeo or a Rolls Royce. It looked so neat. And the hotel is just absolutely beautiful. It gave me White Lotus vibes. I'm definitely going to give you guys a hotel room tour in my next vlog, the Renaissance tour vlog, so stay tuned for that. But like, the thing that really gave me White Lotus vibes was the door mat in the elevator changes every single day. Like, it says Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And it was just so neat. I almost felt like I could see someone filming that on a TV show as like the transition for like the next day in a TV show, like the doorman just rolling it out. Anyways, it was really, really neat, and it like was one of the things every single day me and Matt were like fighting to get to the elevator to make sure that we could snap our little photo of the doormat, because we were there Monday through Friday, and we got every day except for one day. I can't remember which day we missed. Immediately after checking in, which they gave us early check-in, which was amazing because since I had planned us getting there at 8 a.m., we had all our bags and stuff, and we would have had to like tote that everywhere that we went that day until 2:30 when we were supposed to check in. But it was Matt's birthday, so they did let us check in early, and they also gave us, I think, a nicer room because we were literally on the 6th floor, and there's only 7 floors on that hotel, and the view was absolutely beautiful of like down below where you could see like the terrace and the eating areas and stuff. It was really, really pretty. So we immediately checked in, and as soon as we checked in, we dropped off our luggage, and then we immediately went sightseeing because we ended up seeing on the map that we were really close to a lot of touristy stuff, and neither one of us were tired, surprisingly. So we were like, let's go ahead and get some of the things that we were gonna do later on in this trip done now. That way, if, you know, one of us gets sick on the trip or one of us just doesn't feel like going out one day and we just wanna be lazy, it's totally cool because we've already done some stuff in advance. So Monday we didn't have much planned because it was a travel day, and so I just gave it to us as like oh, that's a wash, we won't do anything. But we actually ended up doing quite a few different things. Our hotel's location was ideal because we literally were walking distance from like anything touristy that you would want to do in Seattle. So I highly recommend it if you're ever visiting Seattle. Hotel Sorrento is definitely the place to stay. Oh, we walked from the hotel to the public market, which the market is really, really cute. It literally gave me the vibes of the New Orleans French Quarter, but it stunk so bad. Like, I'm probably gonna show footages of flowers because there were so many flowers at the market, and that's not what you're smelling when you see all those flowers. Like, you're just smelling literal fish. It's the weirdest juxtaposition, having somebody throw around big whole fishes into like tubs of ice, and then right next to it is this huge display of beautiful fresh cut flowers, and it's just like a mind fuck because you're just like, this smells so bad. How does this smell so bad? Yeah, I didn't like that part. I also didn't like that the public market literally gave me anxiety. It felt like a big maze once you really go into like the corridors and stuff like that, and there's not a lot of signage about like what is where, so you're kind of just aimlessly wandering around, and the hallways aren't like super duper wide, so there's just like a lot of people. It's very congested. Honestly, it wasn't my favorite thing at all. It was nice to see it because I've seen it featured in so many different things, but I'm okay never going back to that public market again, I think. Yeah, it wasn't my vibe. But we ended up finding a little place to have Chinese food, and it had a beautiful view of the Ferris wheel. And so we talked about it, and we were like, okay, let's go walk down to the Ferris wheel. And we walked to the Ferris wheel, and we ended up seeing that the aquarium was literally right there. And so we had already planned on going to the aquarium, so I went ahead and bought tickets, and we went to the aquarium. Now, the aquarium was something that Matt really, really wanted to do, and I was kind of like ambivalent on it, to be 100% honest, because I feel like I was really spoiled because we lived in San Francisco for like 4 or 5 years, and literally they have, I think, probably the best aquarium in the United States. Like, if you ever get a chance to go to an aquarium, go to the San Francisco Aquarium. It's definitely worth the money. And it was way cheaper than the Seattle Aquarium. The Seattle Aquarium was very expensive, but it was really neat. I just felt like the price maybe didn't justify the amount of time that we spent in there. I think that someone could spend more time. If you had kids, it was very interactive, but if you're not like there to do all this like interactive like kids stuff, it really didn't take us that long to go through the entire thing. And it was $38 a person, and we did it all in 45 minutes. So I consider that to be quite an expensive little venture. Normally, if you spend that much on a museum, you want to spend like an hour and a half, 2 hours in it, but We definitely didn't. But there were really, really cute things there. Oh yeah, and I didn't expect to see birds there. Like, I don't know why, like, going to the aquarium, I just didn't expect to see birds, but they definitely had like displays of birds, which was really, really neat because I love birds. Oh my God, I've only seen the beanie babies. It's a puffin. Now I really want to look at it. Oh. Here. I wonder what needs all that water. There was this room where you could walk in and it was a big bubble where you could like see up above and see all the fish and stuff like that. That was really neat. I really, really, really liked the seals there. They were super duper cute. There was one named Barney, and oh, I've always loved seals. They look like big like cats or dogs to me. I just love them so much. They're so cute.
Take a picture.
Okay. After that, we kind of walked around that area because it's really touristy near the pier, and we just kind of looked at all the little shops and everything, and then we went back to the hotel, and that was the end of Monday. Tuesday was the Space Needle, and I don't like heights. I don't know why. I was like, oh my God, we need to go to the Space Needle. I don't know why it didn't even register to me like that you're gonna be up that high. It just like didn't even click to me that I was going to something that was like tall. I was just booking it because it was like the touristy thing to do in Seattle. And then we got there and I saw how tall it was and I was like, you guys, the Space Needle is so high up. But I'm going up. So our tickets are for 10:45, but we can't enter yet. So we have 45 minutes to wait outside. But the weather is nice. And there are definitely worse things to look at. Like, I was so nervous. But I was still excited on the ground. Like, did not mind that at all. There was a bit of a wait, didn't mind that at all. So after security, you come through and it has a bunch of facts about the construction of the Space Needle. It got to our turn. We got in that elevator. That elevator, it said, I think 10 miles per hour is the speed that it went up, but it felt like it was going so fast. I literally stopped filming halfway going up because I was shaking. And now we're going.
I know you.
I get it.
And we're going up.
Welcome aboard the elevator. You're currently traveling up at 10 miles an hour for about 41 seconds
up to the observation deck. The Space Needle was built back in 1962 to be the centerpiece for the World's Fair that year. That was held all below and around us on what's now the Seattle Center. Most of the buildings you see down below us are from the World's Fair, including the monorail as well. Now the Space Needle is 605 feet tall, that's 184 meters or 60 stories. Up top there's indoor and outdoor viewing as well as a cafe, beer and wine. Head down the big glass staircase, you'll see the rotating glass.
I was shaking so much. It just went up so fast, and I was not expecting an elevator to go that fast, but it feels like you're just being like pulled up. Like, that was a lot. And it's a glass elevator, so you can see out. Like, I was terrified. I was shaking going up that elevator. We are so high up. I'm already startled because of the elevator. Like, the elevator just jettisoned me up like 350 feet or whatever it is so fast. And yeah, but the views were beautiful up there. And I'm not gonna lie, if you get a chance, definitely do it. But I was nervous. Well, I made it outside, but I ain't going towards the edge. See? I made it out. Oh, wow. We're so high up. The Ferris wheel looks so tiny. Yep, go for it. He's going to sit on one of the little glass ledge benches that are against the glass. I'm like, I would never. I hate heights, you guys. I'm surprised that I'm up here and I'm not shaking it now anymore because I was definitely shaking. And it wasn't as much the height, it was how fast the elevator was going. Like, it was really freaking me out. Look at him. He's just like living his best life. I just can't. Oh my god, and that dome over there, that is where we'll be going to see Beyonce with the arches right there. There's a revolving glass floor down there, and I was like, nope, 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 nope. Matt went down, I can't do it. Okay, so that revolves, and then there's a glass floor. It's neat. I have no desire, but it's neat. She getting her photos. Yes. I wish I was like that. I can't do it. Look at the football stadium down there. Oh my god. And they deposit you in the gift shop. And he's already said he wants something. So we are going to a Thai place because our favorite food is Asian food. The fountain's so pretty. The leaves are changing color. It's so pretty. So excited. Okay, Matt, it's time for your moment. You have to take a bite. Then after that, we did the Chihuly Garden of Glass, which was like this bundle deal with the Space Museum, and Matt wanted to do it. So he said his coworkers really recommended, so we did it. I don't know. The glass art was really, really, really neat. Seeing all the glass was really, really neat. The actual garden part was really underwhelming, and I don't know if that's because I'm a gardener and I watch a lot of garden content. I go to a lot of botanical gardens and stuff like that, but it was just very underwhelming. It felt like my backyard, but like a little bit more well planted, obviously, but like the space was really, really small. It was really confusing to me how it was like the garden of glass, but it was mostly like a glass museum with a small courtyard that they called a garden. It was really confusing to me, but we did it. It was neat. There was someone there who showed you how to blow glass, which was really neat because I've never seen somebody blow glass like in person. I've only seen it done online. So that was really, really neat. And that was pretty much the end of our day on Tuesday. It was just kind of a touristy day, just going to do the things that we had already paid for doing. Also because things were already getting to be quite expensive. One thing we noticed in Seattle was that food was really, really expensive. Every single place that we went, no matter if it was like a fast casual type place or like just like a diner or like anything, was really expensive. We could not eat for less than probably like $55 together, plus tip. So like $65 a meal, which I consider that to be very expensive. Here in Colorado, meals are not that cheap. You can literally go out to eat for like $30 at some places, literally. So it was just like kind of a shock that every single restaurant that we went to was so expensive, but all of the food was amazing. I was shook by that. I thought because it's proximity to California that the food would be similar, because I felt like the food in the Bay Area was not very good, and the food in Seattle was amazing. Like 10 out of 10 recommend. Like I said, things were getting a little bit expensive. So Wednesday I found free things to do. Also because we had this extra day, because we did some of the things that we were already planning on doing later on in the trip, earlier in the trip, so we had this extra day. So I was like, let me Google free things to do in Seattle. And so I Googled and I found the Fry Art Museum, and I was like, perfect, because Matt said he really wanted to go to an art museum, but I looked up the prices of the art museum there and I was like, I'm not willing to spend more money on museums if we're just gonna like breeze through them. First off, because we just went to the aquarium and you breeze through that one in 30 minutes and we're not doing that again. So I was like, no, but I did find this free one, and we went. It was within walking distance, just like everything else had been, and I was honestly really, really impressed with it. It was really nice. It was small, but it was very well curated, and like, it was a nice little museum. I wish I would have gotten footage of it. That day I did not film at all, because I just like, I filmed the other 2 days. I wanted a day where I wasn't gonna film. Since this one was like free activities we were doing, I didn't really feel like I was gonna miss anything. I should have filmed just a little bit at the Fry Art Museum, because it was really, really neat. There was like a water feature outside that's really, really neat. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Highly recommend. We walked around that little area of town just a little bit. And then we headed back to the hotel room for a happy hour, because we had really wanted to do happy hour at our hotel, because they have a fireplace going and this really, really nice like wooden room. And so we were like, oh, we need to have a glass of wine and sit by the fire before we leave here. And so we did that. That was really, really nice. And that was pretty much the end of the day of that day. Thursday, we woke up and we wanted to find a good breakfast place. So we looked and we found this place called Lost Lake Cafe, and Oh my God. It was so good. And it was kind of neat too because it led us to the neighborhood. And so all the little LGBTQ businesses and clubs and everything else are all right there. So we walked around that area after eating, and then we took our walk to the Arboretum. This was the longest walk we took, I think, in Seattle from our hotel. Overall, we did 27 miles of walking, and a lot of that was up really, really steep hills. I'm really impressed with us that we did so much walking. We did only like 2 Ubers when we were there, and that was to the airport and back because it was literally way too far. We couldn't make it that far. But yeah, this was our longest walk, and we thought this would be good because it took us to a different part of the city. It took us through the Capitol Hill neighborhood, which was so nice, and I'm so glad that we walked through that neighborhood because we literally fell in love with it. We were like, oh my God, we've never seen a neighborhood so cute. We'd walked around a lot of Seattle and seen a lot of Seattle's neighborhoods, and none of them really spoke to us like that. But Capitol Hill was like, oh my God, we want to retire in this place. And when we were walking around, we walked to this location that had like a wishing tree, and there was this place where you could like write down on these tags whatever your wish was. So we put to retire in that neighborhood because we looked it up on Zillow and we were like, we gonna need like $2 million to be able to get what we have here there. And I don't really want to downgrade either. So it's definitely like, we could dream about maybe retiring there one day. Walking to the Arboretum, we hit, I think 2 or 3 different parks. Volunteer Park, where there were ducks. Look at all the ducks at Volunteer Park. And I can't remember the name of the other park, but we kind of hit those up as like our break points in the walk because it was such a long walk to the Arboretum. Seattle's really neat in the aspect of their parks are really huge, so you really don't feel like you're in the city in some of these parks. It felt very remote, which was really, really neat. Then we finally got to the Arboretum, and I didn't take any footage. I don't know if it's because I was so tired because we walked so far to get there. But I didn't take any footage. I also feel like I was kind of enamored with it. Like, I am a plant nerd. Like, it's my obsession. I literally think I'm gonna be starting a plant YouTube channel next year. Not plants, more so gardening related. But yeah, I was in heaven seeing all these like super mature plants. Really, really neat. Highly recommend going to the Arboretum. I highly recommend going to the Arboretum anywhere you go. Like if any big city you go to has an Arboretum, go to it. Arboretums are places where they just like basically collect different species of trees for preservation purposes. And they do like big displays of them. And it's always open to the public and it's always free and it always feels like you're at a botanical garden. Normally botanical gardens cost money to go visit. So like, I don't know why people don't take more advantage of arboretums, but like, I definitely recommend any big city that you're at, go to the arboretums. They're really, really neat just to walk around in. Yeah, so we just kind of wandered around the Arboretum and that was the end of that day. Friday was checkout, and I'm not gonna lie, I had such bad depression Thursday night after the concert, which I'm gonna cover in another vlog, mainly because I knew the trip was over or it was ending, and I had such a good time on this trip. I did not want it to end. It was so nice just like being out and like just going out. I don't know, I feel like we're such homebodies, and some things about that are good, but some things about that are bad. Like, we're people who like, instead of going out to the restaurant, we will just DoorDash the food in. And I'm starting to hate that about us because like, I feel like I like going to restaurants. Like, we need to get out of the house more. This vacation really just taught me like, oh my God, I really like this like getting out and doing things more thing. I also feel like because I work from home, Matt works from home, it's just very easy to just always be at home. So we've got to like break out of that habit. I also just fell in love with Seattle, so it was like really hard to leave. Anytime I go to a place and I feel like it feels like home, it's just hard for me to leave. But the one thing that kept giving me so much joy was I missed my dogs so much. Like, it was so nice to be away from them too, do not get me wrong. But it was really, really nice to get back to them. So on our final day, we walked around Seattle University because we had kind of walked by it, but we hadn't walked through it much. And we had just like a little small picnic on the campus. And then we ended off our trip at yet another park. So we visited like 4 or 5 different parks while we were there, plus the arboretum. We're definitely outdoorsy people. It's kind of funny that even in the middle of like this big city, the things that we gravitated to were the parks, but that's just who we are. Overall, the trip was literally perfect, like 10 out of 10. The weather was so nice. It was like this perfect like mid 60s all day, overcast weather, nice breeze. The food was amazing. Like literally every single restaurant I went to, I had a clean plate, which is not like me at all. But I also felt like the servings were smaller in Seattle too. That was another thing that I was like, okay. The entertainment was amazing. Beyonce was absolutely amazing. And then just the atmosphere of the hotel was really, really nice. It truly gave me a White Lotus feeling. Like I felt like I was just being like teleported to this like strange paradise situation. It was very, very neat. It was nice staying at a hotel for that long. I don't think I've ever stayed at a hotel for 5 days straight. Yeah, it was just a really, really nice trip. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys around for the next video, which will be my Renaissance vlog. Bye guys.